While most people think about how to negotiate terms on their existing mortgage, there's actually another point in the mortgage process that most people forget until the very end, and it costs them thousands and thousands of dollars. This is the stage of maturity. This is when your mortgage is coming up for renewal, and I'm here today to tell you how to save thousands of dollars and get it back to your pocket instead of giving it away in unnecessary interest to the banks. So today will be your ultimate conversation of renewing your mortgage. Let's get into it, shall we? Welcome back. I'm Alex McFadden from Flow Mortgage Co. and I've got Chewy, the mortgage pug, beside me to talk to you today a little bit about how to save money at renewal time. It's a big time, folks. It's a time that most people don't think about it, and it's a time to celebrate it because it really is an end of a certain term of your mortgage. Now, when you signed up for your original mortgage here in Canada, you would have taken a term of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, or 10 years. In either case scenario, there is a time when that term will come to an end. And all too many Canadians make the same mistake year over year, actually multiple mistakes. The first mistake they make is they wait until the very end of the term before making a decision. Heck, most people that I talk to that are coming up for the mortgage renewal send me a notice 2 weeks before they're up to the end of the term. Another mistake that we see quite frequently is people actually don't talk to anybody else about their options at renewal. So we're going to talk about how to prevent those two mistakes and what the process is to renew your mortgage and really what your options are in this video. And before we go too deep, just make sure that you go ahead and hit that like button, that subscribe button, so I can help save you some more money and keep you up to date on everything mortgage and real estate related. My focus is to help families create wealth in real estate. And one of the ways that we're going to do that today is to talk about how to save more money in interest on your mortgage renewal. Let's get into it, shall we? Okay, so Chewy and I are going to get into it. You're probably wondering what the heck is going on with this pug here. Well, he's a very important part of this conversation because he is the mortgage pug after all. Now, let's get into it. First steps, your mortgage renewal is coming up. What do you do? The first thing you need to do is, of course, contact your existing lender. Now, if you're coming up for renewal in the next 6 to 12 months, you should contact your existing lender to find out a few details. Number one, are there any mortgage offers available from your lender or bank? Find out what those offers are and get them in writing. Number two, if they're not willing to get you an offer yet, find out if there are any prepayment penalties to exit the loan early. For example, if you're at 10 months early, find out when is the prepayment penalty going to kick in, and at what point you just pay interest for the remaining term. Now, there are some set guidelines for each lender, but of course you probably want to get that information yourself so you can help calculate an understanding of how much money you could potentially save by switching lenders. Number three, once you have this information, regardless of whether you're 3, 6, or 8 months ahead, you're going to want to start to consider your options. Now, renewal time is a big time to consider your options because, well, you can exit the term with no prepayment penalties. So this is actually one of the perfect times to make a change to your existing financial situation, which could include moving, refinancing your home, taking equity out of your home, changing to a different lender, adding a home equity line of credit, looking at investing in other property and pulling equity out, and other considerations. But if you're thinking about any of these key points, this is the time that you may want to make that decision. Now, if none of those considerations are for you, then you're going to want to consider what are the best renewal options. So there are two ways to do this. And again, number one, you can look at renewing again with your existing bank. One of the challenges with that is most of your existing lenders aren't going to provide you any flexibility of the options. They're not going to change your amortization or your term. And the only thing that will really change your monthly payment is essentially the interest rate that you choose. Now, your lender knows that it's very unlikely that you're going to move to another institution because, well, you have to requalify. And a lot of people don't want to go through that process, even if it could save them thousands of dollars. So they know that offering you a certain product or interest rate up front, they don't really need to be very competitive. And even if you come back with different solutions, they have built-in discounts for you. So this is the perfect time, as I mentioned, to start shopping your mortgage around with different lenders and institutions. And in many circumstances, you can actually find not only better interest rates, but different products and different lender options that might impact you. So what does that look like? What is the process? Now, the first thing you want to do is contact an independently licensed mortgage broker who has access to multiple different lenders. Now, that mortgage broker is probably going to want an application from you and some basic information to understand a little bit more about your certain situation. They should be asking you questions around your current budget, your timeline, how long you look to keep the property, if you're planning to take any money out of your home for investments or anything else, and exploring different options around that. Now, with that being said, when you're looking to renew, this is the key time that you can actually consider something called a transfer. Now, a transfer is when you take your existing mortgage and you actually transfer it over to another lender. Now, depending on the type of mortgage product you have, depending on how much you put down, depending on the value of your existing home, less than $1 million, more than $1 million, there can be different rates and terms available to you. Now, I have firsthand experience working with many clients, and in many circumstances, I can tell you for a fact that renewal time, we've been able to save clients over $25,000, $30,000, $40,000 in interest simply because their existing lender was not competitive and we were able to transfer their mortgage. But I've also seen other situations where it actually made more sense for the client to stay where they are, either A, because they didn't qualify, or B, because their lender actually was willing to be competitive. And this is why having a conversation with someone who's independent, unbiased is exceptionally important. So let's go back over this really quickly, shall we? First and foremost, try to be on top of your mortgage renewal as early as possible, as much as 12 months ahead. Number 2, always make sure to get all your renewal offers in writing. Number 3, get an independent conversation with someone who can look at all of your options. Number 4, make sure that if you're in a situation where you're looking at making a change, you consider that among all of your solutions. And then number 5, get your offers to make a decision. Now, a lot of people ask the question, is this a time where a lender can actually decline your renewal? And the answer to that question is yes, they can. Now, if you missed your mortgage payments, if the lender has decided that your type of loan isn't one that they're interested in anymore, they could offer terms that are either A, not very competitive, or B, they could choose to simply not renew your loan. They do not have to do so. Now, this isn't a very common consideration, but if and when this does happen, you do need to be prepared to actually move your mortgage over to another lender. Now, speaking of which, again, we discussed the concept of actually transferring mortgage to another lender. In this circumstance, you do need to be able to qualify, which means you'll need to be able to provide income documentation and verification, property documentation, an application, and a credit report to an institution or a mortgage broker in this circumstance. So a few key points and tips and hacks. Number 1, make sure to consider if now is the time that you want to move to another lender. Number 2, always get all of your mortgage renewal offers from your lender in writing. Number 3, if you're thinking about making a move, consider that now might be a great time to do it. Number 4, find out if there are any early renewal penalties, when and how they kick in, and exactly what the cost will be. And number 5, always look at all of your options with different lenders. If this video has been helpful, make sure to go ahead and click the like, the subscribe, and we look forward to seeing you on the next one.